Welcome back to No Apologies. I am Lori Hins. I'm very pleased to host this time remotely Lily Tang Williams, who is from New Hampshire, but she managed to post on a Grand Forks Fufeng page, and it caught my eye. Lily, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. My pleasure to be on here.
Well, I am very pleased to be able to talk to you in person because I think that your post was amazing. You start out by saying, as a Chinese immigrant who was born and lived under CCP for nearly 24 years, I would oppose this project out of national security concerns. And that really says it all.
Well, I have been warning people in this country about deep infiltration of China's Communist Party for past 5 years. And that includes Confucius Institute, which recently changed the name to Chinese International Education Foundation. And they were in our middle school, high school, and colleges to indoctrinate our children. I also warn people about lots of companies in this country, including AMC, including the meat processing plant, Smithfield, and they're investing in land and all kinds of businesses. Sometimes they're particularly interested near our military bases, like Texas. They've also bought lots of land in Texas near our Air Force Base. You know, I am an immigrant. I love this country. If I see something other people don't know, I need to tell people the truth because, you know, I came here when I was almost 24. I feel very blessed in this country.
Well, I'm very pleased that you've actually spoken out on this, particularly on the site, because you have such an insightful view of this. You lived under that regime. You know what they do. Tell me a bit about your past and your history getting here to the United States.
Well, I was born and grew up in communist China in the southwestern Sichuan province. I survived Mao's Cultural Revolution, so I know one-party dictatorship and how we were equally enslaved, oppressed by the regime. We were sold communism, but then 40 million people starving to death in the 50s. And when I woke up for the first time to ask a question, Mao died when I was 12. And I realized, oh, he was not a god. He was a human being because he died. But I could not even ask a question publicly. I had to ask myself. We all self-censor. We whisper to our family members. We're afraid they will report to authorities. It was like 24/7 surveillance police state. So I decided to go to university to seek for the truth when I could, when the university were reopened after Mao's death in 1979. So I went to college to study law in Shanghai from 1981 to 85. And I was exposed to some American students. They told me about this country and told me about the Declaration of Independence. First time in my life, I heard of the concept of individual rights come from God, not from the government. And my light bulbs turned on, could not turn off. So I decided someday if I have to flee communist China, this is a country I want to come. And that day finally came. So 1988, I was a university law school faculty member, already working for 3 years. I totally gave up on China, one party and dictatorship. And I came to this country after 2 years planning, carefully getting permission to quit my job, to leave country, to get a passport. I came here to go to graduate school, and I started this country in the hole, $1,200 in debt, and borrowed $100 and could not speak English. Look, I'm running for Congress today. What is an American dream you're looking at, right?
I'm getting all verklempt. I have to admit, I'm getting a little teary here because your story is amazing. It is so great. So now here you are in New Hampshire. You are a congressional candidate for office, somebody who truly appreciates and understands the Declaration of Independence and what it's for.
Correct. I feel like the indoctrination of our youth in government schools are very terrifying. I have been going to schools to teach kids about the horrors of communism, socialism for 5 years. I was always shocked. There are lots of stories and details about Mao's China, about today's China. It's just not true. They don't know. And that's why they worship socialism. They want to rely on government for free stuff, and they want to demonize profits, demonize the capitalism. I was just terrified. And last 2 years, I saw the rise of authoritarianism. I saw our government, including free world government, took tactics and terms from communist China's playbook to lock down their citizens, shut down schools, and have all kinds of mass vaccine mandates. And then you saw 2020 the riots and looting, and BLM founder came out to say we are trained Marxists. I was truly terrified. I saw similarity with the Cultural Revolution I survived, so I decided I have to do something more for my new country. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it. My kids will not have their American dream, and I have no place to go. So I decided I'm going to wear this big hat. I'm going to run for Congress.
That's fantastic. Let's show her page too. So you have this web page, and at the top is my favorite part. It says American by Choice. Lily for Congress. This is so good. If you go online, you can see it at Lily Tang Williams, Tang Williams.com, Lily, and read through her story, and you'll be like me, all teary and verklempt. It's terrific to see somebody who loves their country so much, because you know where we are headed.
Right, because I know the House of Representatives right now, the largest caucus is a progressive caucus. You have 100 members, Democrats in there. They're all socialists, like people like Elsie and Bernie's, and they all want to push for socialist policies. They want us to rely on government instead of allow us or leave us alone to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. I don't want to come to another socialist country. I don't want to come here right now, government. Look, I started with nothing. I'm doing fine with all the government help. I did everything by myself and with my husband, and raised 3 wonderful children. I have 3 home businesses. I'm living American dream. So I don't know why our kids and half of the population in this country, and they just bought into the narratives and socialist policies and free this and free that. And I feel that's the price they don't know they're going to pay. They're going to pay with their freedom. They're going to pay with their kids' American dreams. And they're going to pay with their future. So I feel like I have a personal story. Maybe I can go out, wake up people, and just by telling stories, we don't want to go down that way. And we want to stick to our constitutional republic, imagined and founded by our founding fathers, that all men are created equal. And identity politics right now is killing our country. But at the same time, even China knows how to use identity politics to divide American citizens, even potentially interfere with elections. I don't know if you saw this Chinese professor speaking in Mandarin on TV, later got taken down in party school, said, you know what, we could not fix Trump, but now we have people, our friends, at the top of government. It's frightening to hear that.
It's absolutely terrifying. Thanks for staying with us here at No Apologies. I am Lori Hins. With me remotely from the great state of New Hampshire, I have lots of friends out there, is Lily Tang Williams. Lily, thanks for joining us and talking about all things regarding China, and particularly the CCP and your experience. We were talking before the break about companies, and there's a big difference between companies in China versus companies in the United States of America that people may not realize.
Right. People might not know that, in China, all the officials are not elected by people. And there's only one party is in control of everything. And after economic reform in the 80s, people are now to have private property and private companies. And but because we have a one-party dictatorship, so they impose national security laws on whole country plus Hong Kong. And that's why, when students go out protest now, when Americans go visit in Hong Kong, if you say anything anti-government, you can get locked up because you just violated China's national security law. No matter what company you have in China, you are subject to their law, and at the demand of the CCP, everything has to be turned over. Plus, what kind of companies get so big and powerful and with lots of access? And it's people with connections with the CCP. So I want people, all the big companies come out to United States, go to other free countries and buying up businesses and buying up the land and building up, the construction projects. Be aware, because they cannot be pure private enterprise without tied to CCP in order to even get the permission to come out, to purchase other companies and to buy foreign land. And Huawei is tied to Chinese Communist Party. That's why they're banned to use their equipment, their 5G technologies, but they will figure out a way. And espionage cases in this country are very frequent. I am outspoken against CCP. I have been threatened and I have been trolled. I had to cancel my trip to go back to China, visit my families and friends in 2019. So I have not been back to China since 2015 because I don't want to disappear. So I'm speaking up here, running for Congress. I still get attacked by them all the time. Who knows? They might even funnel dark money into my opponents. And so my warning is to people, when they come here to buy up land, invest in our businesses, they are tied to CCP. But you cannot do the same thing when you go to China. Can U.S. company go to China, buy land? No, land belongs to the state. It's impossible. And can you go to buy some business near the military bases? No. So they took advantage of our free country and open society to do projects and things that to serve their agenda and serve their interest. I see national security threat in this project. That's why I decided after I read this article, I joined your group and I want to offer help and offer testimonies if you need me and to do that and to say, you don't want to do this project. If you city elected city council people have to figure a way to let the Chinese to do this project, either they're ignorant or you have to public and do some investigation. What is their connection with China? And corruption can be bad in our government if they don't disclose and follow the money, because the Chinese government has spent billions of dollars through your United Front program, through Confucius Institute, and also through the Recruit Foreign Talents program to access all the people in this country who are sympathetic, friendly towards them. And so you got to be very careful. We got to stay very, very vigilant.
Well, that is such a great warning, too. And to the people who are on the city council, you've just given them such a great warning. I'm mystified as to why they are still pushing this whole project forward.
Well, I don't know why there's no congressional oversight. If I'm elected into Congress, I would like to urge to work with others to point out, China is our top one national security adversary and concern. And they just killed recently a $100 million project in our capital. And Chinese garden, what could that be harmful? It's so beautiful, right? But just
the pagoda.
Yeah, just very close to our capital. And, imagine if you could have surveillance equipment, high-tech equipment installed, produced by Huawei, could they interfere with our communications? Could they, actually spy on us? There are lots of worries. So we need absolute congressional oversight on the foreign companies and foreign government investment. They also come to this country, bought lots of churches, like I'm saying, influence churches and all the Chinese newspapers. I know, I watch and listen to Mandarin Chinese news almost daily. I know what's going on inside of China. I know true color of the Communist Party. They have no respect for their own people's human rights. You think they will respect for foreigners' human rights and privacy? No. They want to advance their political agenda. And according to President Xi, I quote him as Chairman Xi, actually, because he wasn't elected. He wants to advance Chinese dream. That's his dream, CCP dream. You can Google that. By 2049, China wants to be the number one power, dominant power in the whole world, militarily, politically, and also economically. And so it's like, remember Lenin said, let's sell capitalists a role Later, we're going to use that to hand them. So we need to be very, very careful about what we're doing, how we evaluate our relationship with China. And now they're threatening speakers to visit Taiwan and military threats. I was on radio this morning to say, speaker, you should go. Otherwise, because of threat, if she does not go, cancel the trip, it just makes United States look a lot weaker. We already have the weak president. You cannot negotiate anything from a position of weakness. We need to show strength. We are the United States of America, and we are the shining city on the hill for freedom and for democracy. That's why we need to go to Taiwan to show them our support.
Very good. Very good. I think the China threat is definitely real for those of us who have our eyes open, who have seen the story about the pagoda in Washington, D.C., right near the Capitol, and it was going to be super high. Look it up if you have not yet seen that story. I also want to do a quick plug for your YouTube channel, too, if we could show just a screenshot of that as well. Lily, the #4 Congress, there, Lily Tang Williams, for Congress. Watch some of her videos, get educated, share the information with others around you, because as Lily says, you know what, we are the United States of America. Lily, I am so grateful for your time and your words. Thank you for reaching out to North Dakota. We're fans.
Let's fight back, push back that project. Don't let that happen.